Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Author of Your Own Story Show, Daily Growth Hacks Edition. I am so happy to have a colleague and friend, Jason Ackerman, here with us. Jason is an expert in the area of fitness and nutrition. And not only that, but Jason's got an amazing story, and I'll let him fill in some of those blanks here. So, Jason, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So, Jason, a little bit ago, we happened to be in a mastermind group together as well. And you shared a beginning part of your story, which I found so compelling. And for everybody listening, this is just another reason to share your story because, you know, even the people that you know well, you don't know everything about them, of course. But Jason, talk a little bit back about your story and how you got to where you are today.
Well, the part of the story that I shared was how I had been living in, a terrible part of Albany, New York, the capital region of New York. And I woke up one morning to go teach my 6 a.m. spin class, which I absolutely loved. I had 30 people. The class was always packed, played rock and roll. And as I went to my car in the middle of the winter, snow on the ground, freezing cold, I looked across the street and someone was sitting in my car, clearly stealing my car radio.
Wow.
And it wasn't uncommon for where I lived. It was a terrible area, lots of crime. I lived in the basement apartment because that was all I could afford at the time, of this little tiny street that it was easy for people to just do whatever they wanted on. And I had gotten there because I went to college in Albany, graduated in 2000, and was basically left with the decision to move back home to my parents' house or stay in Albany and figure life out, if you will. And moving back in with my parents was not an option. So I wound up staying there, and I was making $8 an hour at Gold's Gym and maybe 12 or 15 for a spin class. And that was all I could afford. I remember I found this apartment is $400 a month. If you were, I'm small, right? I'm 5'4". And if you were 5'5", you wouldn't be able to go in that apartment because your head would hit the ceiling.
Wow. And so here you are in this, you're in this apartment, you're kind of down and out, so to speak, not really, but you're not at the place you are today. So tell us real quick. So paint the picture, how do you go from that to, owning a successful business, exiting that successful business, getting married and running a very successful online coaching and nutrition program?
That is probably a long answer, but I think, the gist of it would be working hard, and knowing that you have this goal in life. While I was living there, I was kind of just, this is what I'm doing now, but I always knew I wanted to do more than simply be a trainer on the Gold's Gym floor, which at one point was a dream in and of itself. I mean, when I started bodybuilding at 13, 14 years old, working at Gold's Gym was all I wanted in life, but now at 22, I was like, okay, I need to figure this out and do more. And I wanted to do it on my own, and I wanted to create something. So it just was a slow and steady grind from teaching spin class to running the aerobic program to managing a gym to ultimately opening and then selling my own gym.
Awesome. It's so funny you talk about working hard, and, I actually wrote a post recently, but, working hard has become one of these things that most people claim is their biggest skill and attribute, right? Like when I ask people, oh, geez, what are you good at? Well, I'm a really hard worker. And someone like you, that's just your base, right? That's your base that you jump and build off of. That's not something you would attribute it to. And I think a lot of people miss that, which is pretty amazing. Working hard is just the beginning. There's so much more that goes into getting a successful life like you and Roz have, and running an online business. And you also have a certification, right?
Yeah, Roz and I have had our business for a couple of years now, Own Your Eating, and we wanted to be able to give people more opportunity to do what we've done, and not just to run their own business, which is certainly an option, but just to learn more about nutrition. So we created our certification, the Own Your Eating Nutrition certification, so people can learn more and then hopefully just like we have, create their own business, be it online or in person, but really give people the opportunity to control their own destiny and do what they love doing.
Oh, I love it. That's what we're all about here at Author of Your Own Story is controlling your destiny and writing your own story as you have. And I love the fact that you guys are taking that knowledge and saying, hey, look, we'll kind of show you the way. We won't do the work for you, but we'll show you the way. And we have a lot of people in the health and wellness field that do listen to this show. And so for those of you that are listening, I can tell you that Jason and Roz is Jason's partner, everything that they put out is top notch each and every time. And I'm going to ask you, Jason, also to share some of that knowledge with us and our listeners today so they can get some baseline support on their eating and nutrition habits, if you're willing to do so.
Of course. Let's do it.
Awesome. So first question I think of, you and I have talked about this before. As you know, I travel a lot and most of the people on here travel. So what are the basic tenets that you see most people, the mistakes, I'll just call them mistakes that most people are making in the area of their nutrition and health?
Well, as you know, I travel a lot as well, and it can quickly become an excuse to just let it go for the weekend or for however long you happen to be on the road. And whether you're traveling or living at home, I think a big mistake people make is simply not having an idea of how much they are eating over the course of the day. So be it under eating, which is actually a bigger issue than people realize, or overeating, not knowing. It's like anything you do in life. What do they say? What gets measured gets managed. It's no different than for your nutrition. If you're not measuring and having a understanding of what you're putting in your mouth, you have no way to control it.
Awesome. So step one, make sure you're actually measuring what you're doing.
Yeah, if I were to give someone, hey, here's one thing that will significantly impact your nutrition, download an app, whatever app you want to use to track your food. We use MyFitnessPal, and track your food every day. Have an idea of how much food you need, which we can obviously help you with, and simply track towards that. Just having awareness of what you're eating will drastically change how your body is looking, feeling, and performing.
And there's a lot of apps out there, and like you said, people can use whatever app they want. You guys just use MyFitnessPal, which I believe is the most popular one right now.
Yeah, it's super simple. It's user friendly. It has a great database for the food. And the truth is, as I say that, I want people to know I'm not saying to adjust anything. I'm simply saying eat like you normally do, but track it.
So if it goes in your mouth, write it down.
If it goes in your mouth, ideally before it goes in your mouth, just so you see, what the nutrition facts are about that. But at the end of the day, you should be able to look back, see everything you ate, and decide, okay, should I make some choices that are different tomorrow?
I mean, I can definitely, I'm sure everybody else can be a testament to that. When I do track my nutrition, I definitely change my behavior and my patterns of being. Right, this, especially the unconscious eating, the grabbing of a bar and eating it without thinking, and the next thing I know, I finished the bar or I finished the handful of whatever it is, even if it's something healthy. I'm not satiated at that point. I'm not full. I'm just eating to eat, and I'm not being present with the food. But when I write it down or I get ready to write it down, I really am able to connect with the reason that I'm eating more so.
Absolutely, and beyond that, obviously, my goal would be that you do make some conscious decisions along the way. And for example, if I'd say to Doug, for you to be successful, whether it's losing weight, staying where you are, I want you to eat 2,000 calories a day. Now, with our brand, we also break that down to your macronutrient prescription. But I'm going to say, Doug, don't worry about that. Just consume 2,000 calories every day. As your day goes on, you're going to look in your app and you're going to either think to myself, wow, I'm already approaching 2,000 calories, which means I should eat less, or I'm not eating enough, which means I should eat more. So hopefully by tracking, it is helping you make some educated decisions along the way. But even if it didn't, you would still be more aware and mindful of everything you ate.
Yeah, I mean, Jason, I'm the guy that when I track my calories, I look at the food that I want. I enter it in to see what it's going to be, and then I go for a run for as long as I need to justify that food. Eating a little bit is never an issue for me. Uh, so I know you and I know macros, and a lot of the people do. But for those listeners that don't know, because I know you guys, your approach is unique, and I really like the way that you guys handle, food, and it doesn't seem restrictive to me like a lot of diets or programs that are out in the market. So talk to us a little bit about, well, first of all, what are macros for those that don't know, and then how do you implement those?
So macros are just foods we need in abundance: protein, carbohydrates, and fats. And like I said, everyone would get their unique prescription for calories, and macros make up those calories. So if you were to get 2,000 calories, there would be a prescription of, say, 200 carbohydrates, 180 protein, and maybe 60 fat. I don't know, those might not be perfect, but somewhere around there. Now, your goal would be to eat in such a way that at the end of the day, you've come very close to that allotment of macronutrients. And like you said, it's not a diet that requires deprivation. In fact, Roz and I have been known to eat some outrageous foods, so long as at the end of the day, we've hit that right macro balance. So we eat foods like donuts. One of my favorite things is mac and cheese, pizza. We're going to go out tonight and get a hamburger and fries. But at the end of the day, we've still ate the right amount of food.
So, it's a formula. You're taking more of a holistic approach to what we put in our mouth, obviously counting the calories, then counting the macros. And then we get to decide, we have the freedom as the end user of choosing, what those sources are coming from.
Yeah, imagine it's a budget. And at the end of the day, you have to spend your budget. Don't go over budget. Don't go under budget. Just spend that budget. And so long as you do, you're going to be successful. And what we learned is, while people may be listening and thinking, well, how can you eat donuts or mac and cheese and lose weight? What we found is people are going to eat those foods regardless of what you tell them. Whether they're on a diet, a challenge, or trying to do some sort of crazy thing, ultimately everyone will wind up eating foods that they enjoy. So our approach is, hey, let us teach you how to eat those foods so you can actually enjoy them and not feel guilty and still stay on course to be successful.
Gotcha. Obviously you have things like insulin sensitivities and things like that. But at this point, you're going, hey, look, let's get the basics first. Kind of the idea of building a house. Let's lay a very solid foundation, whereas everybody else wants to pick out the curtains the first time.
Yeah. And I mean, if you dive into the weeds of things like insulin sensitivity and all that stuff, the truth is, by managing your overall consumption, you're going to solve so many of those problems anyway. The issue isn't the person that's going to eat one donut. It's the person that's going to have six. Or it's not the person that's going to have a burger and fries. It's the person that's going to have those plus an extra large Coca-Cola, right? So you can eat anything you want. You can't eat everything you want. And by managing that, you're going to control so many of the other issues that would arise.
Awesome. Love it. And so we've nailed down a couple things. So what else do you see when you have people? Because I know you do coaching, you do private coaching yourself, but you also have coaches under you. You guys have a lot in the mix that you do and a ton of experience with this. But what are some of the other things that you're seeing when the average person comes in, the entrepreneur or someone like that, and they're saying, hey man, for some reason I haven't been able to control this, my eating habits, or I want to look aesthetically more pleasing or have more energy. What are some of the other downfalls that you're seeing or adjustments that these people are making to achieve success?
The most common things that we see are people that are under eating. I know that sounds a little bit crazy, but most people that are trying to lose weight are actually not eating enough.
Yeah, you don't hear that talked about very often.
It's almost always the number one culprit for people that are not losing weight. And if you're listening and you're trying to lose weight and you hold weight in your midsection primarily, chances are that could be one of your problems. Now, obviously things like sleep and stress play a role in that as well. But when we're talking nutrition, eating enough is key. In addition to that, we might see people that eat enough. We call them kind of the weekend warriors. They do really great. They eat well Monday through Friday, and then the weekend rolls around and it's just party time, whether it's, going out with your significant other, partying with friends, having a few too many drinks. So you undo all the good stuff that you did those other 5 days. And
Gotcha.
then lastly, not as common, but still an issue. We do see people that eat relatively well. They get a good amount of food, the right amount of food, but from such a skewed balance of macronutrients, which typically look like super high carbs and fat, very low protein, and they're just not getting the results they want. So I would say 90% of the people listening fall into one of those three categories.
Okay. Okay. And then so when people are coming in, they're coming in to meet with you guys, and whether it be a celebrity client to your average, average person coming in like me, the average person, do you ever have these people come in and say, well, geez, Jason, I really want to try this ketogenic thing or this paleo thing or this South Beach thing? Do you guys tailor it to that, or do you grab them and say, look, let's just go with some sound nutrition principles here?
The truth is, we'll tailor it to whatever someone is going to do. Mm-hmm. What we've learned is most people think they're going to do those things because they seem easier and they seem like they're going to get faster results. But we know long-term it's not sustainable and they will ultimately fall off. So if someone really wants to do some sort of keto or paleo lifestyle, sure, we're all in, but you need to know all of the pitfalls that go along with it and still tell me you're going to do it. We have found most people find better and more long-term success by being able to eat the foods they love and still lose weight. So keto is great if you're going to do keto. Most people don't actually do keto, or they don't do it forever, in which case they wind up gaining all the weight back that they've lost. No different. We've all been on diets, and my question is typically, cool, well, why are you still not on that diet if it worked for you? Because it wasn't sustainable.
Or it worked for the short term, right? You lost the water weight and you had fake results, so to speak.
Yeah, or even real results, but because it was such a crazy diet, you weren't able to keep that. You can get some really amazing results with the grapefruit diet and just only eat grapefruits. You'll lose not just water, but body fat, of course, some muscle as well. But at some point, you're going to eat something other than a grapefruit.
Absolutely. Well, I've seen people, and I'm sure some of the listeners have too, that, they'll say they're keto and they'll eat the bacon and, the fatty foods, but then they're also having, well, at night, I'll have some pizza, and at night I'll do this, which obviously doesn't throw them into ketosis, and really is just an excuse to eat those foods in great abundance.
Yeah, if anybody ever tells you they're doing keto, the easy way to figure it out is ask them if they're in ketosis. And when they have no idea what you're talking about, you can just let them know they're not actually doing the keto
diet. Or just smile and move on, right?
Yeah, that's a good option too.
Awesome. So anything else that that you're seeing right now in the industry in general that people should be looking out for if they're starting to move towards an exercise routine or a diet? What are some of the common pitfalls, or I'll just call them snake oil salespeople that are going on right now, the current trends?
Well, I think just the biggest thing you want to look for is sustainability. And a lot of diets, that will have the word challenge, or if it has a number in there like 30 days, you need to just be aware of those. Losing weight is hard. Keeping it off is harder. So you want to find something that's sustainable, and be it your nutrition or your fitness is the same thing. People say, well, should I do this exercise or that? And I tell them, hey, what is going to get you there again tomorrow? It has to be something you actually enjoy doing. And chances are, to go along with that, it can't be hours every day. Most people are lucky if they can find 20 or 30 minutes to exercise. So if you're trying to do something that requires 3 hours of exercise, cool, that may work for the short term, but long term, you're not going to be able to sustain that.
Absolutely. Yeah. You need something that's going to be a lifestyle, right? That's what you're saying. Like, how can you roll this in nutrition, exercise that's in a sustainable lifestyle that fits in with your other values?
Exactly. That's why we call it the Own Your Eating lifestyle.
Love it. Love it. Love it. So, you guys, you have the website, you have coaching, you have programs, you have the certification coming out. What else is going on for you and Roz and the Own Your Own Eating lifestyle brand?
Within the brand, we're just constantly putting out new content every day on our blog, whether it's educational, interviews with clients, our own podcast. We're just trying to put content out there so people can stay focused and continue to create this lifestyle. The certification was a huge project that we're super proud of, but we're always putting out new products. And as we learn, we try to just make sure everyone else learns along with us.
Well, I think that's key, right? I've been in the fitness field for over 20 years, and so many people think they get to a certain level of knowledge base, claim themselves to be experts, and oftentimes at that point in time they are, and then stop their learning phase. They stop educating, they stop learning new things, and they get into a dogmatic tone with them. And that's something I've always really respected about you and Roz, is you guys keep continuing to educate yourselves so then you can turn around and educate other people.
Yeah, we certainly don't know everything. We know a good deal, but we're constantly trying to learn more. And we're also not married to what we think we know. If someone comes out there and puts something that's better, we're going to, beg, borrow, and steal from it and figure out how we can implement it for our clients. And beyond just nutrition, we're constantly learning about mindset and other things, because as you know, and I'm sure your listeners do as well, nutrition is just as much, upstairs in your brain as it is in your stomach. And we need people to gain control of that mindset in order to improve their nutrition.
Absolutely. You got to get your mind right. Well, Jason, thanks so much for making time here. For people that want to follow up and learn more about you, yourself, and Own Your Own Eating, where are the best places for them to go?
Well, the absolute best place is our website, ownyoureating.com. So you can check that out. And then all avenues of social media is at Own Your Eating. Our Instagram is Own Your Eating, and I'm sure we have Twitter and Snapchat and all that good stuff. So check that out. And we also have a free group on Facebook. If you search Own Your Eating Tribe, you can find it. We have over 6,000 people that we've worked with, and we give tons of free advice there. So if someone's just looking to get started and learn more about this, that's a great place to jump in.
All right, you guys, you heard it. Ownyoureating.com. We'll put that in the show notes. Jason, thank you again for being with us, and I'd love to have you back. I'm sure we're going to get a lot of questions on here in the future.
Sounds great.
At Author of Your Own Story, we believe in taking a holistic approach to your health, where you aren't just physically healthy, but your entire mind, body, and soul is operating at its most optimal level. To get started in creating holistic health, download our free holistic health checklist at authorofyourownstory.com/body-gift. And don't forget to be the author of your own story.